my name is Surreal Lemming, and today I'm bringing you a showcase of the buildings of Planetary Annihilation. Quick caveat, this is still very early alpha, it's only like 3-4 days since it's been released. A lot of this is subject to change, although I believe most of the art assets will stay the same. I'm not going to go over the costs of the exact buildings, simply because that is very likely to change quite quickly, especially as some of them are just wildly different from each other. However, I'm just going to go over the general look, the general feel, and the general function of them, so give you an idea of what's in store in the game when it comes out. So, we shall start with the factories. Now, we've got the three different types of factories. We've got bot, vehicle, and air, with the Tech 1 and Tech 2 equivalents. We'll start by looking at the bot factory. The units can go either side, based on where the waypoint is. So if you put the waypoint on the right, they'll come out the right. Left, they'll come out the left. Doesn't always work because there's a pathing, but that's a bit buggy at the minute. Should work most of the time. Same with that one, and same with the vehicle factories as well. Waypoint right, waypoint left. It's great and everything. These all do look a little similar, but you can tell the difference quite quickly. If you look at these two for starters, you can immediately tell that these pillars are much further out and it's got these spindly arms, whereas with this, it's got three little tubes on the bottom and these are much closer in. The bigger ones are a little harder to tell, though you can still tell because the arms, again, are very spindly on this, but they're very beefy on the vehicle factory. You've got these chimneys going on again and exhausts for the vehicle factory, whereas the bot factory looks a bit more dainty, let's say. The air factory, their planes just fly straight off. If I start building something, I'll build it on here, you'll notice that these rings spin to knowledege, the thing in the middle. Because of this, at the moment, it takes a while for them to stop and get back to the resting position. So sometimes your plane can be stuck on the pad for a while before it can fly away and do its thing. So that can be a little annoying. But again, very visually different from the other things, while still keeping the same sort of feel. So when you go into an enemy's base or scout them, you can very quickly recognise what's what. One thing I will say while we're here as well is if you look at the team colours. My team colours are majoritively pink with a little bit of blue. You can change that in the lobby, which I'll show off in a later video. It's very easy to tell who's who and what buildings belong to who as well, even when you have very similar, because this majority pink colour, it's got two secondary colours, it's blue and then a green, I believe, and even then you can tell very quickly with the buildings at the very least, what building belongs to who, which is very good, and from a very quick overview you can see very quickly what buildings are what. So we'll move over here next. We've got all the economy buildings here. The first one is the Tech 1 Mat Extractor. It gives you 7 metal per pump. At the minute, you don't have to put it on an extractor point, though that's probably going to change quite quickly. And the Tech 2 Metal Extractor gives us 24 metal a tick. So when you have to put them on points, these will probably be used a lot, especially closer into your base where you're more defended. And then we've also got the storage metal, which gives you 1,000 metal storage at the minute. And here we've got the Tech 1 energy plant, which gives us 700 energy. It's not a tick, is it? It's just 700 energy. And the advanced power plant, which gives us 5,000. Now these costs are going to change drastically, because at the minute this only costs it's 4 times as much as this, where it gives a lot more energy output. So I think that's going to become quite a bit more expensive. And you've got the energy storage, which gives you 20,000 energy for each one. It's well worth building a few of these so you don't have big drops. When your artillery fires and whatnot, you're not constantly running out of energy. The look again, you can easily tell that's what the mass ones are, and the energy ones. You've got this motif going on with the energy of the cross-style things. Very quick style with little squares on top, and then the mass ones again, got a big lump on front with a tall thing behind it. Very quick and easy to decipher what is what. And now we've got the defensive buildings, which are quite probably my favourites. We've got the Tech 1 radar and the Tech 2 radar. Zoom out a bit. The Tech 1 radar does like an area around there-ish. It's hard to tell without any sort of like defined line, but it's about that sort of range. Tech 2 radar, however, goes out to about here, so it's got quite a long range on it. Ignore that, by the way. That's a bug with the torpedo launchers at the minute. So the Tech 2 radar has an incredibly good range on it. You'd still need 10, 15 of them to cover an entire planet, but for now, for the radar, it is fantastic. Next, we've got air defense. There is no Tech 2 air defense, there's only Tech 1. However, this will easily defend your base in enough numbers. I still prefer the mobile air defense over the static ones, but they are still good. Very quick to build as well if you have 4 or 5 NGs building one at once. So if you need very quick air defense, you can spam them up without any trouble. Next, we've got Tech 1 point defense or laser defense towers, and Tech 2. Now, the Tech 2 obviously much bigger, easier to tell which one's which. The Tech 1 has a range of about that and can easily take out any Tech 1 bots. I think its range is actually its vision, which is quite good. The Tech 2 tower has a range outside its vision, so you'll need radar to cover it. And it's got the same sort of range as the Tech 2 artillery bots and vehicles. So it's very good for defending against those, as long as you have radar coverage. It also does quite a bit of damage, but I would probably still prefer to have well-positioned artillery, as it doesn't do as much splash. Next is the wall. The wall sections are a little cumbersome to use at the minute, because you have to place each section of wall individually, like Dragon's Teeth in Total Annihilation. I would love a click and drag thing for them, or like I think it's Command and Conquer Red Alert 2, where you can place one wall and another wall and kind of like join them up in the middle. That would be really good as well. And finally, we've got the artillery. We have got Tech 1 artillery, which has a very decent range. I believe it's about the same sort of range as the advanced laser defense turret. The artillery can only shoot within an arc. I'm not entirely sure what the arc is. I think it's about 60 degrees in front of it. We're going to have to check that at some point though. And it does a large amount of damage and splash. It's not like the old style artillery where you could just place one and the front of your base would be very safe. It's actually got much shorter range than you'd expect. So I think the use of the Tech 1 artillery mainly is going to be coastal defense, which is really what it's made for originally, and for very sneaky behind base things very early on before they can have Tech 2 radar up to spot it. Next, however, we've got the Tech 2 artillery lobber. I think they should really rename this Big Bertha, but I am not Uber Entertainment. This thing is great. It's got a huge range. I think it's about that sort of distance it can fire. I wonder if I can get it to attack ground, actually. Yes, I can. So, can I go any further than that? No, so it is about here, where its max range is. Yeah. And it does huge amounts of damage and huge amounts of splash damage. It also looks bloody intimidating. However, it does take a long time to build at the minute. Now, I don't know how much that's going to stay as it is, but I think it probably will stay that sort of length of time to build for quite a while. And last but not least, we've got the catapult, which is like the ballistic missiles from Supcom. They've got quite a good distance. They take a long time to recharge, and well, that was an interesting path. They do huge amounts of splash though, and I believe they've got a slight bit of tracking to them as well. So very good for breaking bases and destroying large clusters of units. Now on to the sea. Now, while a lot of these are similar, they do have slightly different functions, so I'm going to go through them all again as sea units now. So we've got Naval Factory and Advanced Naval Factory. One thing of note, let's stop that from firing, is that the naval factories, the boats seem to come out of this end, where the little green nubs are, not where the like elevated platforms are. It can be very annoying when you build a shipyard and your boats face the wrong way and try to escape into shore. Now, I'm assuming they're going to change that and have it like on the other ones that will go where the waypoint is. But at the moment, from what I've seen, it will only go in that direction. So make sure you rotate them to go to the right direction. Very simple, same as the other structures though in all other respects. Now we've got the floating economy stuff. Here we've got Tech 1 and Tech 2 mass extractors. At the moment cost exactly the same as their land counterparts and output exactly the same. So there's no deficit for starting on a water planet, which is very good. Same with the energy. They literally are just floating variants, same cost. Now we've got the sea metal and the energy storage as well, both floating. Same cost again, but on water, which is very good for space management as well. Here we have got the floating defense. Now we've got the sonar and the advanced sonar. Haven't really been able to check the ranges on these very much, simply because, well, there isn't much water to check it on. I'm guessing they're going to be roughly the same as the radars though, and they are just sea-based radar for detecting boats, so that's very good. You've got floating laser and floating advanced laser, which are exactly the same as the Tech 1 and Tech 2 land equivalents, so not much to talk about there. Torpedo launcher and advanced torpedo launcher. Now I haven't been able to test most of these out for range either. Let's see if I can get it to attack ground. Nah, it doesn't look like it. If they're anything like the torpedoes in the ships, though, they are a little buggy. Like, torpedoes will sometimes come out of ship and blow up, so probably won't be able to test those for a while. However, it's really nice we've got a Tech 1 and a Tech 2 variant. And here we've got floating wall, which is brilliant to have, and I love that. It's going to allow for a lot of options, especially on sea planets or very narrow chokes in motion. Like, if that was like joined up there, very easily build a barrier there to help defend against seafaring attacks. And these as well, which are jellyfish, which, if I find the boat again, I'll find the exact description. Hard to spot, bad on ship hulls. So I believe these are going to be some sort of mine or like tank traps for boats, which is pretty nice. I haven't seen anything colliding into one yet, unfortunately. However, I'm guessing that these are going to be great for area denial, and whatnot. So that's all the buildings currently in Planetary Annihilation. Oh, no, it's not. Fooled you. There are two other buildings that you can build, however, they don't actually do anything. You've got the anti-nuke launcher, which, as far as I can tell, does actually work, but it's a bit of a moot point because the nuke launcher, which I assume is a nuke launcher, just is called base structure and does absolutely nothing. So you can build it, but it doesn't do anything at all from what we can see, or what I've seen. Maybe someone else has seen something else. So that is all the buildings of Planetary Annihilation thus far. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow I'm hopefully going to be putting up a video comparing build times of units and seeing how viable groups of energies are for having mobile build capacity and boosting out units and whatnot. I know that's all going to change, but I just want to see how it compares to Subcom. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again. Surreal Lemming signing out.